Many corporate transformations fail due to emotional resistance. It's very rare to see success cases, but today we have one from the ABB. This company is a global leader in electronification and automation, and we get to speak with their transformation vice president who shares their unique and super successful approach for radically growing their business. Ilkka, tell me what enabled it.
A new change of the guards. The board chairman took over as interim CEO, giving free reins to the business areas to decide their future and how they want to organize themselves. And Motion business area, head by Morten Wierod, took the opportunity and said, oh, now it's time for us to rethink what kind of motion we want to have and how do we grow the business and treat our customers better than ever. Well, we really wanted to understand how we stand as separate businesses inside Motion business area. So we did a quick analysis using the Boston grid, trying to understand where our businesses really are, how many we have as cash cows, how many are more almost sliding closer to the dog business, and where our future opportunity starts. And we realized that, yeah, we are a successful company because we have a lot of cash cows and maybe some dangerously close to the dog business, but we were missing the growth, big growth opportunities, the dog businesses. And
how did people inside the company react to this recognition?
The top management, it was a brutal fact, so they can't deny that. So they understood that, yeah, we need to see a change. We need to rethink how we run this business.
And you anticipated this reaction and created something else.
Yes, we went to the opposite direction. We wanted to build this ground up. Which was, of course, very radical for the ABB history of changes. So we really wanted to. We knew, of course, the answers at the top management because we did the first analysis. But that would be a big mistake to start preaching and telling that to the people. So we asked the people themselves. So asked the middle management and the specialist professionals that what do you like about Motion today? What do you don't like that much about? What would you like to see changing? And we got exactly the same answers as the top management. Quick research we did. Saying that, yeah, we love the products, we love the first line managers who are supporting us, or the first, but we are too risk averse. We don't have empowerment. We should be more customer driven, and that was music to our ears.
So one of the central parts of this inclusive process was that you organized a workshop.
Yes.
And day one went really well, but you had a sleepless night.
Yeah, we had a small workshop prior to the big one, where we had all the top 60 managers in Switzerland. First day I thought this was going okay. We were talking about the right topics, like how do we know what the good should look like, the design principles and other things. But then later on, Morten came to me and said, laughing at, by the way, Ilkka, some of those guys are already asking that, will you present the real solution tomorrow? And then I got a sleepless night and said, okay, damn, we still have not been good enough explaining the whole process and getting buy-in to this very different way of managing transformation. So we reorganized the next day based on that.
So after the first day, some members of the management were expecting that there would be more top-down control.
Yep.
And you had to clarify how the process actually will work.
Exactly.
And you had an innovative idea for convincing the people in the second day.
Yeah, so we replanned the next day in such a way that those few critical team members I had that were chosen by the business leaders, I put them on stage. We planned it, of course, and they were explaining how we are going about, why we are doing this way, and what is the next step, and how we make sure that they have the steering wheel still.
And that's amazing in at least two ways. First, you were awake in the process and you recognized the potential risk, and instead of pushing forward blindly, you actually adjusted the approach. And second, you identified the key influencers within the organization who were able to build the collective buy-in for the process.
The trusted guys.
And how did you move from the morning of the second day to concrete results?
Well, we organized the next steps to really come up with the clear options, operating model options, and also the design principles. And we asked the businesses to come to with customer cases. How can we test how it really works? And then we had the final workshop a little bit later on, where we run these exercises. We said, okay, you decide. Now you can decide out of these ABC options, what do you think drives us to the growth future? Using the design principles, using the customer case, use cases we had. And they went through that and said, oh, this is the result, which was actually the option C with some elements from option A. So it was a hybrid.
Usually these change processes go so that there is initial excitement, but then things start kind of going down and people feel exhausted and tired of the change. So what happened in your case?
Oddly enough, it went the other way around. So we had the monthly pulse metrics that we were following very keenly. And what we learned, thanks to this bottom-up approach, is that we were going up and up every month.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So here you really returned back to the brutal facts and evidence.
Yep.
And I think this story is a lot about how you overcome the kind of wishful thinking and instead face the reality, accept it, generate options, hear people, and again face the reality and move things forward.
Yep.
And from your point of view, what would be the three most important lessons for transformation management in the emotional sense?
Well, first thing is the feeling of control. You know, why some people are fear of flying, it goes back to that I have no control. So that's the first target. You need to keep that feeling alive, that people feel I have the control, what's going to happen. The second is the can do. That this change is not so dramatic that I feel kind of helpless, that I can't do this. I feel, not powerful or capable enough to do it. That's the second part, can do. And the third is it's all of us, we are together. The feeling that I'm not alone, but we have a team, we have a community supporting us.
Yeah. And concretely, how do you do that? One sentence tip for each, how you create control?
By engaging with real day-in-life situations that they can see this is how things work and this is what we decide based on that. So it's everything rooted in reality.
How do you create the can-do feeling?
Can-do feeling by making sure that we are not jumping too big steps. That people see that these are manageable steps that we take. When we started transformation, we didn't have a big bang change everything. We had a manageable steps and people felt confident that yes, we can do that.
And the sense of being together.
By building really on the teaming up, we were really putting a lot of emphasis on making the teams stronger, and also feeling this community that we, the motion community. This is actually what we are doing today even more, but not at the motion, but at the group level.
And concretely, how you build strong team? You take them to the gym or?
By making sure that we have a really understanding of the common purpose, what is really the reason why we are a team. Executives typically are poor team players, so you need to have a strong reason for that, and then you need to identify what I need, what is my role there, and what I need from you to succeed. And this is typically a thing that executives are poor at discussing, and that the clarity we brought in, that I'm doing this, but I need this thing from you, and then you handshake and agree.
Yes.
One more critical element was this gamification, to really engage large group of people all around the world, fast and easy way, to really get the grasp of the new way of working, not just the structure, but how we want to work together differently.
What I really liked in Ilkka's message was that it's really fundamentally about business results and growth. But the means through which you achieve this growth comes through emotional intelligence and mindfulness in the situation. As he described, they were really attuned to the reality, what is happening, what sells, what doesn't sell. But also internally, what kind of change approach is likely to work in the organization. And when their assumptions about the organizational response didn't fully materialize, they recognized that and adjusted the approach, and then further thought what's an emotionally feasible way of actually getting things done. So really, if you want to transform successfully, integrate emotion management into your strategy.